Yeah, don't worry. Okay. So we are going to the next couple days mess around with the terrain file, the drawing file where I have you put those specific views in certain spots. One thing that we're going to do is take the smokestack and do a breakout view, and then we're going to do with the wheel a full section. Okay, we didn't do that yet, right? So this is what we're actually going to do. Okay. So a section view basically shows the inside detail of a part. Okay. So this, I don't really like this slide. This is an Automoblocks car. We used to use these for our reverse engineering. As you can see, they're well used. The wheels just kind of fly off. We're probably going to do a different project, one a little more entertaining, when we get to our reverse engineering, which will be the next project after the train project. Okay. But this image right here that we see on the screen is this plastic kind of windshield canopy. Okay. So I know it's hard to see because it's small, but there's some inside detail with this part that wouldn't necessarily be easy to dimension. Okay. And I'm going to show you an example in Inventor with a tennis ball that's going to maybe make it a little more clear. But sometimes you have to add a view, so maybe you got your front, top, and right side view, and you still can't dimension a certain feature on a part because it's all hidden lines, which is our big no-no, right? That's our one major rule, never dimension to a hidden line. So, again, this would give us, a front, top, and right side view of the Automoblocks windshield, but dimensioning it fully would be a problem. Okay. So the main focus of a section view is to show the inside detail. I'm going to show you another slide that will do a better job of this, but basically what we have here is called a cutting plane line, and this line can go anywhere in your drawing. It's not like the center line or the object line is more important than the cutting plane line. The cutting plane line can go wherever it wants. Okay? So this is basically saying that we're taking this top part of this windshield and we're throwing it away. We're taking the remaining chunk and we're rotating up to look and see what's going on. But again, this isn't the greatest slide. Let me show you what that's going to look like. Okay, so this is a better slide. So here we've got a part, okay? We have a cutting plane line going through the middle. So when it goes all the way through our part, this is going to be called a full section. Why don't you put that in your notes? Full section. And then just add in after that, the part is cut in half. Okay, so a full section, the part's cut in half. Okay. We'll go back here for you. All right, so again, this part, if I were to show you the right side view, might have a lot of hidden lines on the inside of it. Okay? So one, we can't dimension those hidden lines. And two, maybe it's just a little confusing of what's going on the inside. You just can't understand it. So we put a cutting plane line right through the middle of our part. The actual cutting plane line, okay, it's very hard to see right here, is a long dash, a short, short, long dash, short, short, and so on. It just repeats over and over again. The arrows are called our lines of sight, and this tells the viewer what we're looking at. Okay? And I'll show you again how that relates to our new section view. The A and the A is a label that just is automatically generated in Inventor. If I was drawing this by hand, I would still label it, just so a person knows where the view is coming from. Okay? Notice again, the cutting plane line is going past the view. Why would we want to do that? Why do we always take some lines, certain type of lines, and we go past the object? Okay.
To get the whole view of the object?
Well, that's one reason, but like even the center line here, why is the center line drawn past my view? And?
So you don't think it's part of the object.
Exactly. We don't want to mistake this center line or the cutting plane line as being part of the object. Okay? So if it's going past the view, we know it's a symbol used for something else. So what we're going to do is imagine taking this through like a bandsaw, and we're cutting this thing right in half. Okay? This is the nice thing about this slide right here. So imagine that entire side is gone. We throw it away in the garbage. We take the remaining chunk and we rotate it like we would a right side view, and it creates the new view for us. Okay? And then we would bring back, obviously the other side of that view. So notice this now takes the place of our right side view. We don't have this view plus the outside view of the right side. Okay? And wherever we see the diagonal lines, they're called section lines, which we talked about in Unit 2. Wherever you see the diagonal lines, that means material's been cut. Okay? So the one thing I wish this slide would do is show you what this looked like prior to the section view. All of this inside detail, all of these vertical lines, would be hidden lines. And you may not know what exactly is going on. Okay? So back to the lines of sight, these arrows. Again, it's telling me that that view came from looking at the part this way. Okay? You have to have that view opposite the arrows. In Inventor, which this is generated from, it's super easy. Once I get this made, I can grab this view and drag it over here and put it on the left side. That would be very bad because these arrows don't automatically flip. Okay, so it's bad practice to have the arrows of your cutting plane pointing to the actual section view. They got to be opposite. Okay. Let's put this in your notes. A half section. Half section cuts away a quarter of the shape. Okay, a half section cuts away a quarter of the shape. It can get a little confusing. You would think a half section would be what we just talked about, that full section, because you're cutting away half of the part. It's just how it is. Okay, so a full section cuts it in half. The half section cuts out a quarter of it. So typically, we would have these in a cylindrical kind of a part where we only need to cut off a quarter. What that does is it allows us to see the outside shape and the inside of the shape. So we get a good visual of what's going on in and out of the shape. Any questions so far? So you guys are lucky because back in the day, if I had to do this by pencil and paper, this would take this drawing right here, that view of the front, and this section view would probably take a class period, like a 40, 50-minute class period. Once you get your part done, it's 2 seconds in Inventor. You guys are spoiled. Okay? Just want to keep reminding you of that. Third one, let's put in your notes, offset section. So we've got the full section, half section, and now this offset section. So looking at the top view of this part, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the top view. There's like a kind of a slot, there's a hole, there's like this boss area right here. Again, the front view would just be a mess of hidden lines. Okay? Notice the cutting plane line though in this one. It goes through the center of this feature, straight up, through the center of this feature, straight down, and then through the center of that feature. That generates an offset section where basically we're taking the remaining chunk, because we've cut away the bottom half, we're taking the top chunk and we're rotating it 90 degrees down to create our front view. But basically it's like an accordion and we've just kind of squished all those distances towards each other so it creates a 2D image. So this vertical line here is where that transition takes place with our cutting plane line. Okay? And that's so that we can get all those features a little bit easier to understand. In this view now I can maybe dimension like the depth, the person sees the shape a little bit better, they have a better understanding of what's going on. Questions on that? So those are the three, we're not going to talk about that right now, those are the three main styles of a section. There's other types of sections, there's a broken out, there's a revolved, there's a lined, those are the three main ones. Okay? Let me just show you again another option for us. Oh, not that. gonna go back here. All right. So we all know what a tennis ball looks like, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, Jeff.
So I've drawn a tennis ball. Okay. And notice how when I put the view on here, I've got the outside of the tennis ball, but then I've got two hidden lines on the inside. I basically modeled this up as two parts, the fuzz, being one part, and then the inside rubber part as another part. So that's why you see two hidden lines right here. So obviously, if I make this my front view, and I rotate to the top, what's my view going to look like? If I take the front view and rotate to the top, what's it going to look like? It's going to look the same. Same thing, front to the right side, it's going to look the same, right? So there's no way for me to dimension the thickness of the tennis ball unless I do a section view. Okay? So what I'm going to show you here, and then we're going to do some drawings by hand, is we're going to take this, and I'm going to put a cutting plane line right through the middle of this tennis ball. So it's going to do this. It's going to drop away that half of the tennis ball, and then it's going to take and rotate this 90 degrees so that we can see the inside. Okay? So like I said, in Inventor, it's pretty easy. Again, obviously I'm in the drawing file. We have a section tool, and we'll do some of this together with the train project. I'm going to go to the section tool. I'm going to click on the view that I want to work with. That changes my cursor to a little plus sign. And in this case, I want to go right through the middle, so I'm going to hover right at the top, go through my parts. Okay, so that line right there represents the cutting plane line. I don't need to zigzag it at all, so I'm done. So I'm going to right-click and continue. And I'll just put this right there. Okay? So you can see how the cut material has got the hatch pattern, the 45-degree lines. And because I have two separate parts, the hatch pattern is going in opposite directions. So that's just to signify that there's indeed two parts right there. Okay? Now, of course, I would get a center line in there. Now, this being a round part, or a kind of a cylindrical part, if you will, we can go section, and maybe I'll do a half section. I'll go up to the center and then out the side. I could do that. Okay? So again, this will now allow me to put a dimension to measure the wall thickness of my parts. What do you notice about this view, though? What's unique about the section view? Compare it to my front view. Anybody? Ken?
No hidden lines.
Very good. Okay. So in this section view, there's no hidden lines. The purpose of a section view is to make things easier to see, easier to understand. Okay? So put that in your notes, like kind of a starred one. This is a big one. No hidden lines in a section view. Okay, no hidden lines in the section view. Now that is simplifying it for this class. If you go out in industry, you might have a section view, and for some reason there might be a hidden line used for like features on the back side, but we're not going to worry about that. When we do a section view in this class, we're going to make sure that we have 0 hidden lines. Okay? Any questions so far? All right, why don't you get a ruler? We're going to do a drawing together. Take one of those, pass it back.
Gracias. Those are